So one day, while I was perusing streaming services, I stumbled across this anime called Macross Plus. I knew nothing of it when I was looking at it, but it intrigued me nonetheless. So I sat down and watched its 4 40-minute episodes, and I'm like,
Damn! That shit good!
not only is the action good, the music good, and the story is good, but the show got me thinking about some of the deeper things that it touched on. That is why I'm making this video. I just want to convey some of my thoughts on these things and the show in general. I know that there's also a movie version of this show. For this review, I'm focusing on the OVA, because from what I understand, there's not much of a difference between the two, outside of a few scenes here and there. Looking it up, I see, like most mecha anime, it has a weird extended universe that this OVA is just a brief side story of. On that matter, I have no comment. This is essentially my only experience with Macross and its million shows. Like, I had no idea. Seriously. Going into this, I knew nothing about it except for this show and what was on Hulu. So this video will be a review of Macross Plus and nothing else. I think it works perfectly fine as a standalone show, and I will be treating it as such. The story of Macross Plus is pretty much Top Gun, with more mecha and more romance and a whole lot less of romantic chauvinism. We follow the hotshot pilot Isamu Dyson as he joins a test pilot program which forces him to cross paths with his childhood rival Gild Bowman and their joint love interest Myung Fei Long. The show centers around their rivalry and dramatic back and forth, stoking the dramatic flames with human drama, having those feelings face off in a gladiatorial arena with their weapon of choice being mech fighter jets, the ones that they are testing. The action is mixing the high-flying fighter jets with the shonen mecha throwdowns, translating hard feelings into aggressive actions in the way that anime does best. It works well with these two styles of action, without pause and using them both when necessary. They are also quite well animated, and follow into the high standards of animation for that era of anime. Typically, each episode ends with a fight, and it looks incredible, and kind of helps set the stage for the following episode, providing each episode a structure without it feeling like the climax of each of those episodes was forced. I really like the characters and the individual arcs, so much so that I'm gonna spend the majority of this video just analyzing that, and how that ties in with the themes around technology and automation. They also have some pretty solid voice acting, even with the English dub, which features a young Bryan Cranston as the main character. I'm not even joking.
Hey, even I can't resurrect the dead.
Overall, the show is a fun, action-packed, ego-fueled character drama that engages you on a visceral and emotional level, translating the emotions seen in the dramatic confrontations into a high-flying adrenaline rush, even capturing all that lies underneath some of the characters' cold exterior. Also, just want to say it here, the soundtrack to this fucking show slaps. Yoko Kanno creates some fantastic music for Macross Plus, and it may not be the bombastic big band jazz she does for Cowboy Bebop, but there are some great chill tracks here that I see myself coming back to constantly, especially the songs that Sharon Apple uses in her concerts. So yeah, check it out. If you don't want any more spoilers, don't watch any further. If not, you have been warned, and check it out. It's on Hulu, and it's probably on a bunch of other streaming services. While I mention the importance of these characters expressing their emotions, at the beginning of the show, it is quite the opposite for two of the three main characters. Both Gild and Myung have fine-tuned their lives to be perfect for them, and not for their emotions. Gild, as the ace test pilot, controlling his plane telepathically with ease and with his emotional stability, and Myung using her natural inclination towards music to guide a virtual idol, serving as its voice and removing all the humanity from it, while captivating audiences worldwide. Both of these characters exist in a emotionally catatonic state, where everything is just presently alright. They have success and live lives of luxury, yet it rings hollow. Myung denies herself of her singing, acting like everything's fine, ending up with a job where she just puppets an AI pop star, Sharon Apple, without actually putting any emphasis or emotion into it. Gild's emotional control, the one that allows him to control his plane, does not bear any actual power either. These both show once Isamu enters the picture, rekindling old tensions, loves, and emotions. that both Myung and Guild want buried. Isamu, being the hot shit he thinks he is, gets in the middle of Guild and Myung's budding romance, making it complicated and bringing in a whole new world of conflicting emotions, opening old wounds that everyone thought were healed. What Guild and Myung realize is that their past is something that they cannot step away from and need to address to move forward. You can see this even from the very first time Isamu sees Myung in the first episode. His appearance in their lives shifts the way that they act, showing how false their maturity is. They only appear mature and secure with their lives, but the old wounds of the past never really disappeared. Isamu, throughout the show, pushes them out of their comfort zone and forces them to rethink their lives. To the same extent, he tests their abilities and talents. Guild directly with their constant tests of the planes that turn into duels. Myung with Isamu testing her rigid idea of adult life and it being one that does not contain her singing. For Myung, not singing means living life without passion. As you can see from Isamu's reaction of him learning that Myung no longer sings. It is an integral part of her life. They both get tested constantly throughout the show, with their emotional outbursts seeping into their work, never allowing them to get under control like they were before, and so they have to kind of deal with this turmoil before it's too late. But in the end, it does become too late, and their emotions and even themselves are removed from the things that they care about, and leave them in the dust. Which brings me to the finale of this show, and the thing that ties this all together: Myung, Guild, and Isamu are all replaced by AI. Artificial intelligence plays a big role in this show, more than you'd think. See, all of the characters in one way or another rely on it, or at least in some way help shape it. Most significantly, Myung, serving as the brain to the pop star Sharon Apple, which feels like she is compromising on her passion for singing and translating it to have it try and make it serve some greater purpose in the world, automating her creativity and her passion into something that can be marketed and appeal to all the masses, without her even being involved directly. Isamu and Guild have their jobs as pilots lost entirely to AI, as the government was working on an AI that does the same thing that they do without all the fussiness surrounding human ingenuity. So Myung loses her place to Sharon pretty easily, as the company behind Sharon Apple were able to perfect the AI thanks to Myung's cooperation, not without Sharon Apple messing with Myung's conflicting feelings and turning them into several iterations of Sharon, all of which Myung witnesses and overwhelm her in this strange and surreal scene right before Sharon has this huge performance. Quite honestly, that scene in particular is one of my favorite in the show. It shows how much of an imprint on technology at that point, how much of an imprint she has had on developing this technology, since it is able to just so succinctly capture her own feelings, capturing them even better than she does herself, but also points out that technology does not need her anymore, and that her passionate career has died in that moment, leaving her with nothing, leaving all the characters with nothing. Or does it? See, that's when Isamu comes back into the picture. Of course, through his stubborn nature, and not wanting to give up after losing his job. He returns to Earth to fight the AI pilot and prove humans are better than AI, on the very day that that AI was supposed to debut, only to find that things are much worse than that. See, Sharon, through her seductive nature, overpowers the AI pilot and a lot of the technology surrounding Earth. Simultaneously, she hypnotizes everyone on Earth who sees her performance. She also takes over the newfangled fighter jet in a way that is trying to lure Isamu to the planet, which she is deliberately doing with all the feelings that Sharon learned from Myung about Isamu. Somehow outsmarting everything and everyone in this intergalactic empire that spans multiple planets and has high-tech mecha fighter jets. But I guess when they are all programmed by gooners like Newman Yang, then it makes sense. He's just so horny, his betrayal is just not that far to reach. Anyways, the three main characters confront their AI enemy, fighting it both in wits and in combat. Isamu and Guild finally hash out their hard feelings in the only way they know how, with fighter jets. They team up to fight the AI jet and free Myung and all of the citizens of Earth from Sharon's grasp. Isamu gets with Sharon, Sharon gets with Myung, and Myung doesn't share Sharon's outlook on the topic of AI taking over the world, and neither does Isamu. So, they both fight it, Isamu in his jet, quite literally, and Myung, who sings and is able to finally and freely express herself. After all this time, and all the burden she has put on singing, she channels her passion, which helps Isamu win the day. Now that I've walked you guys through the plot, what can we learn from these guys and their whole ordeal? Is it that hard work, determination, and courage pay off, and are things that AI cannot replicate? That being passionate and present in your life will prove that you will live a better life, and you will be better than AI? Is it that simping over an AI and choosing her over your life's work is one of the worst decisions you can make in your life? Or is it that all arguments could be resolved by fighting in mech fighter jets? Or is it all the above? The answer is all of the above, of course. And honestly, who the fuck chooses an AI waifu over your entire career's work? And one of your friends, nonetheless. Are you that much of a gooner? No, but seriously, I was pleasantly surprised how good this show was. It handles the melodrama and the action with enough care that they become intertwined, making us actually care about this macho showboating between Isamu and Guild. The show turns their fighting into a form of self-expression, and just like it does with Myung, it illuminates their feelings and allows these characters to express themselves, and express it to others, whether they want to or not. Doing that is clearly important. I mean, you can act like you're fine when you're not, and when you live in a constant state of denial, but it clearly shines through, and you can see that in these characters and how they act at the beginning of the show, as we clearly see with Myung and how she refuses to sing, leading to her inner anguish. Of course, these problems the characters work through are not as simple as just being passionate about them and expressing them, but it at least leads to a foundation to a healthy dialogue about their problems. One where they can actually discuss them and heal, continue, move forward with life, just like it does with Myung at the end of the show. I don't know. Maybe this analysis was a little, far-reaching, but you know what? It's a good show. This is what I got out of it. I enjoyed it for something that I just randomly threw on, and it was certainly worth it, okay? If you take anything away from this, it's just this. Learn to express yourself. AI will cause problems, but just fuck it, whatever. We're humans, we'll live. And don't be a gooner, okay? But what did you guys get out of this? Is this incoherent ramblings making any sense? Should I cover more mech anime? Are there any good mech anime besides this? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.